Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are watching this from. Welcome to Weekly Science Review organized by Vetri Labs. Here at Vetri Labs, we are focused on implementing electrochemical technologies at scale. To implement anything at scale, we need to understand the fundamentals. It's the fundamentals that really help us with the applied aspects and then take it to manufacturing and product development at scale. In with respect to that, we do a deep dive on published articles that are in open access mode in the field of electrochemistry and do literature discussion, paper discussion, and Q&A. In that respect, today's discussion is going to be led by Dr. Ramesh Tangavel. Ramesh Tangavel is a research scientist at NRCA based in Bangalore, India. Welcome to Weekly Science Review, Dr. Ramesh. Over to you now.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Chuck, for giving me this opportunity to present the weekly seminar. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll keep it in full screen. Yeah. So today's topic goes on the title of electrochemical reconstruction of ZNO for selective reduction of CO2 to CO. So the major this work was carried out by Liu et al. Team, and it is published in Applied Catalysis B Environmental this year. And this work majorly focus on electrochemical reduction of CO2 to some other potential chemical to increase the um, renewable energy and reduce the pollution. So the major advantage of CO2 reduction is to form a byproducts of CO or formic acid or hydrocarbons and other oxygenators. The main the reaction which is prominent in the CO2 reduction is CO2 to COO, and this is proposed to be a techno-economically viable and feasible reaction that can be performed and convert the CO2 to CO. And the major advantage of converting to CO2 to CO is it can be converted into a fuel which can be directly used in other products. Like it can be directly converted into methanol by Fischer-Tropsch synthesis and methanol synthesis and electrochemical reduction. So the major part it is lies with by the catalyst material that we are using. So the majorly studied material is copper and zinc. So in this work, they have concentrated morely on zinc due to its high selectivity towards CO. That means it can be easily forming CO, and it has high strength towards the COOH group and H plus ions group. So also it will be having a high oxygen vacancies because they were proposing that zinc catalyst can be prepared from zinc oxide to zinc. In that way, it will be having more oxygen vacancies and edge sites as well as oxidized zinc species because it is derived from nanostructured zinc oxide material, and it will be having better active centers compared to a normal and polycrystalline zinc for CO2 reduction. So in this work, they want to understand the feasibility of using zinc oxide to a zinc catalyst, and also they have prepared different type of zinc catalyst based on the different experimental procedure to understand the CO2 reduction capability of zinc derived from zinc oxide. So the preparation of electrode material goes on by three methods. One is directly converting zinc foil by hydrothermal method, heating at 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours in a solution containing sodium hydroxide and sodium hexahydrate. So that will be forming the first zinc oxide, and the formation of zinc oxide on this particular zinc file, it has not been quantified. And in the second process, what they have done is on the zinc file, they have spray coated the zinc oxide nanoparticle that with making the ink formation of 1 gram zinc nanoparticle with a 0.5 gram of Nafion and water and IPSS solvent. So after making the ink, they got spray coated on the zinc foil, and they have made a second zinc oxide electrode with the electrode loading of zinc oxide loading of 2.5 meter square per centimeter, 2.5 milligram per square centimeter. The third process, they have used the electrode deposition process. In that process, they have used SGL carbon paper as an electrode, and they have applied a -4 milliampere per square centimeter to make the reaction happen in the electrolyte solution of uh, 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 0.1 molar, 0.01 molar zinc nitrate and 0.1 molar KCl solution. In that, they have found that the zinc oxide loading is 0.5 milligram per square centimeters. So once they prepared these oxide materials from the different process, they have used the electrochemical reduction process to convert that zinc oxide to metallic zinc. So in this process, what they have done is they have taken the prepared material, and with respect to RHC, they have applied -1.6 volt in a CO2 saturated 0.1 molar KHCO3 solution, and they have carried out this reaction for 20 minutes to convert this zinc oxide to a metallic zinc. So to go on to the physical characterization, the three-way they prepared the zinc oxide. So we can see that the hydrothermal treated one, it has shown an nanowire structure with the 5 micron in length and 100 to 200 micron in diameter. Whereas the spray coated event, they have used zinc oxide nanoparticle. Because of Nafion as a binder, it has shown the agglomerated structure in this picture. And in the third one, when they have done the electrochemical reduction, they got a nanoflower kind structure based on the lower potential as well as the electrolyte combinations. They were able to achieve the thin film flake thickness of then show it here, thickness of 30 nanometer, and the with the overall the size of the nanoflower, it is meant to be 1 to 5 micrometer. It's all in a micron size range. And when they have carried out the electrochemical reduction of these three electrodes, they were able to see a complete hexagonal structure. We can see that the zinc 1 and zinc 2 and Zn3 all are shown unique hexagonal structure. They were thinking why it is converted into a hexagonal structure, because all the bare material which they have oxidized it are all in different nanostructures and micron shape. The morphology has changed to this one like a hexagonal structure. They want to understand why it has happened. They have carried out the complete what to say to understand the physical characterization. They have carried out TEM and SAD pattern. They found that in the TEM it is a bit porous one with a unique hexagonal structure of between 200 to 300 nanometer, nearly that shit, and it is having the facet of 0.002 facet is prominent in all the catalyst particle. And they want to understand why this kind of hexagonal structure has come. Even they have converted the wires and hexagon nanoparticles and nanoflowers. They just finally converted into a hexagonal shape. It's happening when they are applying the reduction process. It is forming a dissolution, then followed by the reduction of the zinc oxide. So in the during the dissolution process, it is forming zinc hydroxide ions on the surface. Further, it is reducing to a metallic zinc. In this way, whether it is in any morphology, it will be finally converting into a hexagonal shape. During this process, it is dissoluting and reducing. Because of that, there will be a huge defects on the surface, as well as the vacancies also will be very high in this process. So to confirm the formation of metallic zinc from zinc oxide, they have carried out the XRD spectra, they found that the oxidized sample almost having the zinc oxide structure, whereas there will be a few metallic zinc is observed in the hydrothermal treated one because it's partially oxidized, whereas other materials are completely oxidized because of a proper environment. When they have reduced that into a zinc, pure metallic zinc, they can see that it's completely transferred from zinc oxide to a complete zinc. But in case of ZnO3, they have found that there is a intensity variation compared to other samples because still there is a presence of this Zn5 OHCl minus presence because it is there in the structure of the material. It has to be completely oxidized, completely reduced. It will be taking longer time. Then they found that there is an intensity variation. Further, to identify the complete formation on the surface, they have carried out the XPS analysis both before organ spectring and after organ spectring. So in the case of zinc oxide, they were able to see a proper peak for the zinc oxide at 987 electron volt and 990 electron volt. We can see here 997 electron volt and 990 electron volt for the zinc oxide. Whereas when they have taken into a chamber, even it is reduced one, it is having very high affinity towards oxygen. It is showing the presence of oxides on the surface in the reduced one. So they had a doubt whether it is completely oxidized or not. They have carried out the organ spectring to remove the surface oxides which is forming when it is being exposed to air. So after loading in the chamber, they have sputtered with organ. They found that there is zinc oxide in the system because the environmental air it is affecting the structure a lot. So they found that the surface bound to oxidize at meter level. So they have followed a two-way process to do this electrochemical reduction using these three material. So each itself measurement customized one, and they have followed electrode system only for this measurement. So they have carried out different kind of experiments and to say that they have used CO2 saturated 0.1 molar KHCO3 as electrolyte, and this uh, we prepared catalyst as an working electrode, and the reference electrode is AgHCl, and the nickel foil they have used it as a counter electrode. Yeah. Then they have carried out the measurement by applying the current of by applying the voltage from -1 to -6. So with increasing the voltage, they were able to see there is a with the decrease in voltage in terms of negative, we can say that if the decrease in voltage, there is an increase in the uh, CO2 reduction efficiency, and they found that it is maximum with respect to electrical current density, they were able to achieve 18.5 for the zinc, which is hydrothermal treated and reduced one, and 15.5 milliampere per square centimeter for the Zeton 2 and 11 milliampere per centimeter square for the Zeton 3. They have compared this with the pure bulk zinc catalyst, and it was found to be a 3 milliampere per centimeter square for the bulk zinc catalyst. In this catalyst, when they are coming reducing the zinc oxide to zinc, they are having better efficiency compared to the bulk zinc. So they have done the gaseous analysis to measure the CO2 efficiency as well as the formation of other liquid product and the hydrogen production. They were able to see that the CO efficiency, Faraday efficiency is keep on increasing with lowering the potential, and they were able to achieve maximum of 95% of Faraday efficiency, and the hydrogen graph see the hydrogen efficiency is very low at very low negative potentials. So it is resembling that these materials can perform very well for the uh, CO2 reduction with very less amount of hydrogen production in the system. When we do the reduction process, the hydrogen formation will be the prominent one. So in this catalyst, the hydrogen formation is a bit negligible in very negative potentials. In that case, these catalysts prone to be very effective. We can see that the CO2 selectivity is decreases in the order of Zeton and Zeton2 and Zeton3. So they were found that the uh, uh, hydrothermal treated sample prone to be the highest performing sample compared to other two phases. And after performing this reaction compared to then the cyclic stability studies also they have carried out for 18 hours. What they have done is they have applied the current up to 3 milliampere per square centimeter, and they found that the Faraday efficiency it is retained for all the samples. Nearly we can see that open circles it's for the Faraday efficiency and the solid line for the voltage efficiency. So we can see that the Faraday efficiency is very high, more than 80% for all the samples, and the voltage is maintained at 0.75 for all the samples without degrading its performance. These samples are highly stable in this environment. After this stability test, they have carried out the SCM analysis. They found that the structure of the sample is not deformed, even though they have carried out the reactions at longer duration. Even they are maintained the CO efficiency to be 85%. So they were found that there is no change in this sample, implying that the structural stability of this catalyst are very high compared to other bulk catalysts. Again, when they have carried out this reaction, they have want to see what is the influence of the structure of the material or morphology of the material and size of the material. So they have used different they have taken a direct zinc file. We can see that they have converted the current, what we can say is the geometric current density of CO with respect to a pure zinc foil and the prepared zinc catalyst. They found that the geometrical Faraday efficiency found to be very high for the followed by Zeton2 and Zeton3 compared to the pure zinc foil. But they want to further understand what is the influence of the electrochemical surface area. They have performed the individual electrochemical surface area analysis for all sample, and they have averaged that with respect to the CO efficiency. They found to be similar. The CO efficiency with respect to electrochemical surface area for all the samples found to be same. So they had a doubt why, even though there is no there is no effect on the structure with respect to ECSA, it is remains to be same. So they were thinking that the local pH may be the major point for this reaction. They have done the diffusion type pH analysis using the density functional theory. They found that the local pH it's increasing with lowering the potential. Even though the pH of the blank solution is at 6.5, whereas when they have done the theoretical calculation at lower pH, lower potential itself, it is found to be very high because of a very high affinity towards the CO and protonation. So when there is a huge proton towards when this reaction is happening, there will be a huge consumption of proton in the system. So when there is a change in proton in the system, there it would lead to increase in the pH level. So they found that the reaction kinetics is very higher in the zinc oxide derived catalyst due to the formation of CO2, the other intermediates. It is forming, it is increasing the pH of the system. Though they have compared with the pure zinc foil and the zinc oxide, in the D, we can see that they have compared with with we can see pure zinc foil, and B is zinc with irregular morphology, and zinc oxide 2 reduced this capital C is zinc oxide reduced at 0.8 volt, and D is zinc nitrate. So with a different structure, they have measured. Found that the Zn1, which they have prepared from hydrothermal treated one, they found that the higher Faraday efficiency as well as the pH also increased drastically due to the conversion efficiency. They found that there is a huge change in the pH at the interface of the system. That it will be the major factor for the higher conversion efficiency of the CO2 to CO. And even though there is a different morphology of the system, so they have compared this particular three electrode system results with the other CO2 reduction materials. They found that these materials are performing at a nominal potential and found to have shown very high CO2 Faraday efficiency with the CO formation rate of 0.17 millimole per centimeter square per hour. That is very quite high compared to other reported catalyst material. Apart from that, the three electrode system, they have done the flow reactor type. In this, they will be and in this case, they have kept the anodite as the whatever three electrode system that. And in the cathode, they have dissolved the CO2 with 1 molar KOH, and they have circulated this electrolyte continuously in the system. So in this case, they have taken carbon carbon paper as a substrate material, and the zinc oxide they have spray coated on the system, and they have reduced it. The electrode deposited cathode, they have taken it, and they have performed this reaction, and they have used nickel foil as a uh, anode material. When they are performing this two electrode system in a flow reactor type, they found that with increasing they were able to achieve nearly 80% of Faraday efficiency for CO with the increasing potential of 0.675 volt. Then they have compared to the concentration, they have increased the CO2 concentration, and they made it into 100 CO2 concentration. They were able to achieve a maximum 95% of CO2 efficiency, CO2 conversion efficiency at nominal increase in potential. So these results also they have compared with the existing reported literature. These results found to be nearly equivalent to other works with 90 of Faraday efficiency in this catholite environment with nominal current density values. And in summary, when we came to know that they have three different type of electrode zinc catalyst from zinc oxide. They have performed very well because of their high active sites and selectivity and high stable CO2 reduction efficiency. The three electrode system a type reactor cell have shown a very high conversion efficiency of 90% with the moderate over potential of 750 millivolt, and they found to be highly stable for 18 hours. In the flow type system, they are able to achieve 91.6% of efficiency with 200 milliampere per square centimeter with the nominal increase applied voltage of 0.62 with respect to RHC. The diffuse modeling indicates that there is a pH effect on the system, and there is a geometrical activity towards the CO selectivity on the oxidized catalyst. And also they have found that the there is a relation between structural performance and the final state of the electrode instead of precursor reduction and restriction may dictate the overall performance. In this case, what they're trying to say is when we are reconstruction the structure from its original structure, it will be leading to a very high catalytically active catalyst compared to forming a direct nanoparticle catalyst. They found that this catalyst can be a promising one for the CO2 reduction because of its mixed oxides, and it can perform well in the real-time system also. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Ramesh. That was very well done. Let's start the discussion.
Yes.
Any questions, comments, thoughts from the team, from Sriram or Ayyappan?
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, actually, I have a few questions. So I saw what was the loading on the flow reactor and what was the loading on the half cell is 3 milli. What was the loading on the half cell?
Wait, I'll go to the first slide.
Oh, this is 0.5.
The first one, which is highly active, they have not given the catalyst loading, or the loading was not mentioned. For other system, they know the loading of the material.
So these are on the half cell, right?
Yes, these are all the half cell. In the full cell system, which is in a floor type reactor, it's a 0.5 milligram per centimeter square.
And they use their best performing, which is their hydrothermal.
Yes. No, they have taken the this one because they have some issues in the fabrication part. They have used the carbon GDL material as a third one, electro reduction type material they have taken for the measurement.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying, because the loading was that's what I was trying to do. And was there
in that case that is having issue? Yeah.
What was their onset? Did they have any LSV data on their supplementary to see what is the onset?
In supplementary, they have mentioned that they have done the CV, but there is no CV graph. They have only the data for the measurement.
Okay.
What is the double layer current? And they measured the ECSA value based on the double layer current. There is no onset potential for this. That's why they have measured at each potential what is the conversion efficiency. The onset potential.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that is they have a half cell of about -20 milliamps per centimeter square. So just because it's about it's almost the same for whatever the CO2 when you do the half cell study in terms of CO reduction. So I was just trying to.
Yes.
And one other thing you did discuss about the surface morphology, they didn't have the effect. But did they talk about these were a couple of microns, right? For the higher ones, they were like 5 micron nano needles, right?
Yes.
Was there anything, because I see the pH dependency, but was there any dependency of particle size influencing the Faraday efficiency? Was there anything?
That's what they are trying to address, is the particle size between 0.1 micron to 1 micron. 0.1 micron to 1 micron has a major influence compared to other type of systems. Even they mentioned that below nanometer level material are having a size effect. Above 6 nanometer particle size are nearly performing to the bulk zinc catalyst material, bulk zinc foil itself. So the performance is not influenced in micron size. There is no morphological difference in micron size.
Okay, because the reason I asked, if you look at this SEM image, you can see there is a particle size difference between your sample 1 and 3. And we could see the Faraday efficiency change, because with the larger particle size, when the sample 1, they get a higher Faraday efficiency for CO conversion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But what they were trying to say from this work is, and they have compared with literature, below 6 nanometer has an effect on morphology. Above 6 nanometer, it doesn't have a morphological effect. That's what they were trying to address from their previous experience. So they compared in this, if you can see, I can show you. Yeah, in this they have compared with the different material with the different shape. You can see that the sample D, it's a zinc nitrate. They have used it above or 6 nanometer, and
Mhm.
that also found to be 50%, what to say, almost nearly 70% of the Faraday efficiency, not performing extremely well.
Mhm.
So that's why they have taken with respect to geometrical surface area and compared it. The geometrical surface area deconvoluted with the ECSA. So in that case, they were trying to say there is no change in the structural dependency. Even there is a morphology change or the size change, it will not be influencing anything in terms of the normalized activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one last question, Ramesh. What is the cell voltage for the flow reactor? Did they mention that?
Uh,
Because I saw.
they have mentioned, yeah, actually they have measured it with respect to RHE, but they have applied it. I was about to see that one, but I'm not able to get the data
Okay.
because they have converted this value also into the with respect to RHE. They
Okay.
mentioned that they were supposed to use IRO2. IRO2 is the standard catalyst for material for the system. But in this case, they want to reduce the IRO2 usage. They have used nickel foil itself, and that's why they have not given what is the system.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ramesh. Thanks.
Hey,
Sriram?
I
Yeah.
have a question. I think this may be a little bit basic, but when I was like looking into just like CO2 reduction in general, they said that a gas diffusion electrode is the best for these. Could you explain why?
Yes, they have not explained about the why gas diffusion type electrodes are best. In this case, they found that the gas dispersion will be good and the current collection efficiency will be good, as well as the interaction between electrode and electrolyte will be much more good in the gas diffusion type electrode compared to other bulk electrodes or what to say type electrodes. In this case, the efficiency will be high because of its diffuse electrode structure. It will be both conduct highly. It will be prominent for the gas diffusion compared to other ones. But in this effect, they have not explained uh, uh, in the three electrode system or in the flow reactor system.
Yeah.
Even
Yes,
the
that's
type
why I was.
in the type 3 electrode, they used SGL carbon paper as a substrate. They have deposited the zinc oxide, then they reduced it. But they have not said the GDL or the carbon paper influence. They have not mentioned it.
Yeah. So just to add to what Ramesh said, when you're looking at an electrochemical system, you're trying to maximize the three-phase contact. The three
Yes.
phases are the ionic conductor, the electronic conductor, which is a solid and catalyst, and then the gas phase. So in this case, it's a CO2. So you're trying to maximize that. When you look at the gas phase, gas diffusion electrode, that three-phase interface is maximized. That's why it's better. And I really like the paper because they really went to decouple the morphology versus the surface area. The moment they
Yes, sir.
found that its surface area and morphology is not dependent, they went with the most easy and manufacturing friendly method to study the cell, full cell.
Yes. Yes.
So
So
it's
flow
a
cells,
great
they have
paper.
performed a
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a very nice paper.
That too, they have done it in a two electrode system and they were able to achieve Faraday efficiency. That itself prominent results. That way I have taken this paper for the presentation.
Yeah, good selection of the paper because it didn't stop at the fundamentals. It went all the way to taking that and applying it in the full cell. So
Yes.
that's good.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah.
Is there any question?
No, I think it's good overall. I think they have reasonable current density at high Faraday efficiency. Seems like
Yes.
a
Yes.
good way. And again, as I mentioned, they went into the characterization of TEM to understand, even though you start out with different, you went into the same and why
Yes.
that
Yeah.
happened.
Actually, that point I forgot to mention in the previous slide.
Right. So, and then also the fact that even zinc foil performs the same way as the other
Yes.
one tells us, hey, don't worry about how you start. Don't spend money on exotic manufacturing methods.
Yes.
Get the active area as high as possible with the cheapest manufacturing method, and then you will get the performance.
Yes, sir. In this way, they have tried to address no shape or size. It will not be influencing much. It's all about the active sites that we are creating on the surface will be the most prominent factors. That's why they have taken the zinc oxide and they have converted into zinc. So there will be oxygen vacancies on the site. That is influencing maximum performance compared to the bulk ones.
Yeah, this also helps. I don't think they touched on this, but stability versus time, right? If you start with very tiny nanoparticles, the stability is going to be an issue because it will tend
Yes.
to ripen, and synthetic asphalt ripening will happen as a function of time. So by having this understanding of the active area versus performance, you can also put that dimension of adding stability as a function of time, and then you pick the best for the total cost of ownership optimization.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great. If there are no further
Thank you.
questions or discussion, next week,
Yeah,
what are we discussing? Ramesh?
next week presentation will be the improved borohydride oxidation reaction activity and stability for carbon supported platinum nanoparticle with the tantalum oxyphosphate interlite, which is published in Journal of Electrochemical Society. And
Great.
this
And
is
that
the
will
work
be
that we'll be discussing on next week.
great. And that will be led by Dr. Ayyappan Irangovan. Thank you. You can also lead the discussion, join the discussion live. If you're interested, please send us an email at info@vetrilabs.com. See you next week. Thank you all.
Thank you all.